I don't know how familiar you are with the phrase keeping up with the Joneses. Oh, the neighbour's just got a new car. We best get a new car. Oh, the neighbour's just got a hot tub. We best get a hot tub. Oh, the neighbour's just got a 2-week wrestling special event, so we best put on a 2-week wrestling special event. With the Great American Bash 2-week special event around the corner, conveniently enough, let's take a look at how we get there. This is NXT Graded. Cameron Grimes out to start. We're meant to see Grimes versus Priest tonight, but we find out just before this that Grimes has attacked Priest as he's getting out of his car. So here's Cameron Grimes in the centre of the ring, asking to be declared the winner of the match. Damian Priest is not having this, despite a billion people trying to stop him from fighting, and despite his stomach and ribs all being taped up, he's out there to fight Cameron Grimes. And the match gets underway, and despite the fact that Priest is really going for it on Grimes, because he's hurt, he just no real momentum goes his way. He goes for a crucifix powerbomb outside the ring, and he's just too hurt to finish it. So Grimes manages to turn it round into a cave-in and nearly gets the win via countout. But in the true spirit of Harry Potter, Damian Priest pushes through at 9 3/4. Back in the ring, moments later, he eats another cave-in, and Cameron Grimes picks up a big win over Damian Priest, giving our opening match tonight a B+. I really enjoyed the chemistry that these two have, and this was not the longest of matches, but what it was very, very good, very well put together. Cameron Grimes' finisher, the cave-in, is it one of the most protected finishers in wrestling right now? Because I don't feel like anybody really kicks out of it, do they? Unless it's very... I'm trying to think if anybody has. Maybe Balor might have done last week. I know Balor was avoiding it like the plague a couple of weeks ago. It's a very protected finisher regardless. And there's big things for Cameron Grimes. Backstage, Robert Stone is trying to offer Rhea Ripley a metaphorical golden ticket on board the Robert Stone brand train. Choo, choo, choo. She doesn't punch the ticket, but she does punch Robert Stone and ends up chucking him into a dumpster. Aliyah is furious about this, gets right up in the grill of Rhea Ripley, slaps her across the face, to which Ripley smiles and says, "You've just got a golden ticket to my ring. I'll see you later." So we're going to get Ripley and Aliyah later, and then Aliyah looks as if she's about to burst into tears. I feel Rhea Ripley may tear her apart later on. Class is in session with Timothy Thatcher, another Thatcher's Thatch can lesson as he shows his students how to put on a half crab and a Kimura lock. And you can see he's enjoying breaking these students apart. He says, "We all had fun today," and then dismisses them until next week. I'm wondering whether this is going to lead to Timothy Thatcher just leading this army of technically proficient grapplers. I'd be alright with that, that'd be fun. Santos Escobar is outflanked by Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. It's Escobar versus Jake Atlas, who is fighting for his mate Drake Maverick tonight. A really intense action to start with from Atlas, who is just wild on Santos Escobar. It isn't until he gets distracted by Wilde and Mendoza outside the ring that Escobar manages to take advantage by pushing him into the plexiglass. Despite the wear down from Escobar, we see Atlas fight back into this, hitting loads of strikes, big moonsault as well, wipes out Wilde and Mendoza with a moonsault to the outside of the ring too. Goes up top looking to hit something onto a prone Escobar, but Escobar recovers, hits the Phantom Driver for the 1, 2, 3. This was a B for me. I thought these two had a good match. It was good fun. They blend well together. I like Santos Escobar's mean streak here, and Jake Atlas, who is known for high-flying offense, like he took it down a couple of pegs here and made it more like strike and aggression based, because it's a grudge, so he's fighting in a grudge-like way, and I liked it. We get more Undisputed Therapy as Roderick Strong is finally ready to face the trunk. He tells his therapist that he's been thinking on it all week and he's going to face the trunk once again like he tried to do last week. The therapist is delighted and he reveals himself to be Kyle O'Reilly in disguise. Who saw that coming? I know. Roderick Strong gets into the trunk outside to prove that he has overcome his fears, and then Adam Cole tells him that he is facing Dexter Lumis tonight. And Roddy looks a little bit uncertain. Let's put a pin in that for later. After hearing from Malcolm Bivens and Indus Sher, we get a video package hyping our main event, the North American title triple threat match. We see Finn Balor, who reflects on attacking Johnny Gargano when he got here, saying that he's here because Gargano couldn't lead NXT properly. Gargano says the night that Balor attacked him was the night that Johnny Wrestling died. Keith Lee talks about being limitless and brilliant. Balor calls Keith Lee like a flavour of the month, says he's seen guys like him before. And you know what? If you weren't hyped for this triple threat before the show started, then you have to be hyped by now. The Kacy Express, Kacy Catanzaro and Kayden Carter are facing Dakota Kai and Raquel González next. Ronaldo and Beth Phoenix talk about the new mental mind state of Kacy Catanzaro and Kayden Carter, and they're talking about unleashing this aggressive side in them and digging deep to get more aggressive. They're saying that as we're watching Kacy Catanzaro smiling and dancing and waving at the crowd. It's a bit of a juxtaposition. In ring, there was a bit more fire there than normal. No, I don't think as much as we needed, but there was a bit more fire there. I like the Kacy Express, as they are now calling themselves. They did some really good tag team offense here. There was a great bit with Raquel González hoying Catanzaro out of the ring, and Catanzaro skins the cat, but not over the ropes, but over Kayden Carter. And Carter helps flip her back into the ring into a head scissors. That was really good. They had some nice teamwork here. The story being that Dakota Kai likes to come in and attack on Carter and Catanzaro and then get Raquel González to do the heavy lifting. The match comes to an end when Kacy Catanzaro gets springboarded into Raquel González by Kayden Carter. They did like an alley-oop type move. Catanzaro goes up for it. First time she does it, works all right. Second time she does it, nah, not this time. Biggest one-arm powerbomb that you've probably seen in months. Just wipes out Catanzaro. Then Dakota Kai wants the tag, and then she puts the submission on, gets the win by tap out. After the match, Dakota Kai basically declares herself the next challenger for Io Shirai's NXT Women's Championship, saying that the champ is in her crosshairs. This was a C+ for me. I thought it was really good. There was some really good stuff in this match. I don't think it was great, but it was certainly very good. It was an enjoyable match that helped the flow of the evening. And the whole talk about, oh, they're more aggressive, I didn't buy it, to be honest. Kacy Catanzaro, though, I don't want to dig on Catanzaro. I like Kayden Carter. I think she's a more rounded. She's got a more rounded style. I think there's lots of good stuff with Kayden Carter, as there is with Catanzaro, but I don't think Catanzaro is there. She kind of reminds me a bit of Sean Waltman, 1-2-3 Kid in 1994, in the sense that like she's smaller than everybody else, but she's got a lot of unique moves in her repertoire that make her stand out from the pack as well. There's something about her. I think when we click into it, good times. Karrion Kross makes his deeply cinematic entrance, and he is facing Bronson Reed tonight. Reed called out Kross last week, and he starts strong. He takes Kross off his feet several times in this match. This is actually more even than I thought it would be. I kind of thought this would be Bronson gets some licks in, and then Kross drops him nice and quick. But we actually see some really good back and forth with these guys. We see Bronson take the fight to Kross, dropping in with a German suplex late in the match, but Kross doesn't sell the German suplex, and they end up having like a big strike fest, back and forth, wiping each other out. But despite how strong Bronson Reed looks in this, Kross won't be denied. We get the Doomsday Saito, followed by the Kross jacket for the submission win for Karrion Kross. But I'm giving it a B+. I just loved this short, sharp, big boy fight. There was great chemistry there. It was a fun match. I don't think it's worthy of an A. I don't, but for what I saw, I really enjoyed it. I think that Bronson Reed has a good role in NXT. I could see him kind of being like the keeper of the gate of the top tier. So he's one of those big lads that you can feud with and score big wins over to establish you. Kind of like Earthquake in the 90s, possibly. I've got some old references this week, and you can tell I've been watching some old wrestling, trying to escape the world. Yeah, but I think that's a good role, and I think that would suit him, and I really enjoyed what he brought with Karrion Kross. Rhea Ripley faces Aliyah next. Bell sounds, Aliyah straight out there. Tries to make a leave, but Ripley comes, brings her back in, just throws her across the ring, drops her to the outside of the ring, and they've got this funny moment with Robert Stone trying to G up Aliyah, saying, "We've got her where we want her." We have to win this. Aliyah gets back into the match a couple of times. She gets a little flurry, but Ripley's just dominating her. Locks in that big figure four with the arms that Rhea Ripley does. And seeing that the writing was on the wall for Aliyah, Robert Stone gets onto the ring apron, takes off his shoe, throws the shoe at Rhea Ripley. Big thanks to Beth Phoenix for calling the line that I'd have done on commentary as well. Who throws a shoe? Big shout to Austin Powers there. Ripley tries to tear Robert Stone's head off, but instead takes his jacket off, and he makes a run for it. Aliyah tries to get a sneaky win. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. Riptide. 1, 2, 3, and Rhea Ripley stands tall. A little bit later on in the night, we find out that Robert Stone wants a rematch. Robert Stone wants a rematch for Aliyah. But William Regal makes it a handicap match with Ripley versus Robert Stone and Aliyah next week, with the added caveat that added by Robert Stone that if Stone and Aliyah win, Rhea Ripley joins the Robert Stone brand. And Rhea Ripley's fine with this. She's going to beat them both senseless next week. B- for this whole bit. And I've been in graded, if you watch back, I've been quite harsh on Aliyah simply because I haven't cared enough about what Aliyah does. But the stuff that she's doing now, the character stuff she's doing with Robert Stone, it's really bringing out this personality within her, and I'm really enjoying the work that she's doing there. And here's to much more of it. Like this is an Aliyah that I can really buy into. And next week it's the handicap match. I know some people are a little bit frustrated that Rhea Ripley has been quote unquote demoted. But if you're not factored into the top contender stuff at the moment, I don't think there's any harm in putting Rhea Ripley in something like this. It's a bit of fun, bit of character development stuff. I think that Ripley will become the NXT Women's Champion again, but I think they're just taking her away from that picture for now to try some other people, to move some things around. She'll be back, it'll be fine. Let's just have some fun with this. Dexter Lumis faces Roderick Strong now. The bell sounds. Roddy don't want anything to do with it. Roderick Strong can't even make eye contact with Dexter Lumis. He tries a couple of times to get into the ring to start the match. Lumis is just stood there staring at him, and he just keeps bailing out of the ring. Bobby Fish is constantly trying to reassure Roddy that it's going to be all right. And eventually, Dexter Lumis gets bored of Roderick Strong pacing around the ring, follows him out of the ring, and Roddy takes a powder, just legs it. At one point, runs off and crashes into the plexiglass, and then he disappears out of shot. Lumis gets back into the ring to win via count out, and Bobby Fish on the outside of the ring almost gets trapped in the head and arm lock that Dexter Lumis loves so much. He makes a run for it as well. We find out a short while later that next week it's going to be Dexter Lumis versus Roderick Strong in a strap match. Now, if you watched the tier list I did with Ross on Match Types, you'll know I'm not a massive fan of strap matches. They can get in the bin as far as I'm concerned. But you know what? I'm an optimistic guy. Let's see what next week brings. I'm not going to grade this. There's nothing to grade. It wasn't really a match. It was more just some fun stuff that builds to next week. I will grade the strap match next week, but it's already gone on a bit of a curve because strap matches are notoriously a bit crap. We also find out next week we're getting a #1 contenders match for the NXT Women's Championship. It's going to be a 4-way featuring Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, and Tegan Nox. We get a nice profile piece on all 4 of these as well. And again, if Rhea Ripley's not factored into that match and we're mixing it up, it's good to see Ripley doing something different. It's good to have other matches on the card for Ripley to get amongst. This could be really good. Like the 4 here, they've worked very solidly together over the last few months. Could be a fun match next week. So we come to the main event. It is the NXT North American Championship. Keith Lee defending against Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor. Bell sounds, Gargano's gone. He leaves Balor and Keith to fight for a little bit before getting into the ring to try and cheekily beat Keith Lee. That ain't happening. The story for most of this match is Balor and Gargano trying to cut down the big old moving fridge that is Keith Lee. But Keith just keeps swatting them away. They try like alternating sleepers, running strikes. At one point they're going for like a double submission and Keith's just swatting them all away. At one point he does a double overhead suplex on them both. Just stands there and just over the shoulder. Eventually Gargano and Balor team up to send Keith Lee out of the ring and throw him into the steel steps. He's had a commission for a big part of the next part of this match, as it's just Balor and Gargano trading offense back and forth. These two have really good chemistry together, so this was really fun. Balor goes into the corner, signals for the shotgun drop kick, and then we have Keith Lee reappearing, popping up behind Finn Balor, a move which, according to Pro Wrestling Fandom, is now called the Don't You Forget About Keith Lee Lear. That's not official from Keith Lee, by the way, but let's call it that. Thanks for the nod. Don't you? No, I won't sing it. Everybody goes for everything in the final act. Gargano goes for a dive outside the ring. Balor's going to turn it into the 1916, but here's Keith Lee with a pounce, takes them both out. He goes for a spirit bomb on Finn Balor back in the ring, but Balor propels up and hits a coup de grace onto Keith. That looked brilliant. The finish comes though when Keith Lee rallies, hits the Big Bang Catastrophe onto Johnny Gargano. Off the ropes comes Balor with a coup de grace. Lee sees this coming, breaks the cover, so Balor crashes down onto Gargano, and then Keith gets up, hits the Big Bang Catastrophe on Finn Balor, and pins Balor to retain the North American Championship. And as we go off air, we've got everybody thumping the plexiglass as Adam Cole has made his way out, and he stands in the ring, holds up his NXT title, as Keith Lee holds up his North American title. You may have seen the picture in the thumbnail already. Oh, that's a great moment. I like it. Main event was an A. It was always going to be an uber high grade, and these three, you've got like the ring general that is Finn Balor, you've got the technical excellence that is Johnny Gargano, and you've just got the phenom that is Keith Lee. All really hard working, all very giving performers, and of course it was going to be great. And it was. And it sets us up for something really big on July the 8th, which I genuinely think is going to be Keith Lee winning both belts. I feel like Keith Lee is about to win he's about to hold 2 titles in WWE. And just because something's predictable doesn't make it bad. It'd be amazing. I'm sticking with it. Keith Lee to win everything on July the 8th. On an event conveniently running up against Fyter Fest. Overall this week, NXT averages out at a B+. We're in a really nice groove with NXT at the moment. They very much pitched their tent up against Fyter Fest for the next 2 weeks with these Great American Bash 2 weeks worth of specials. And I am optimistic for 2 A-grade shows to come from it. Don't let me down, Bruce. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.